You're alone at home. You've just put a piece of steak in your mouth. Maybe you're watching the news. Maybe you're scrolling through your phone. You bite down, you start to chew, but you're distracted. You swallow a little early. And then everything stops. Not slows down, stops. The piece of meat is lodged in your throat. You try to pull in air and nothing comes. You try to cough and your body won't let you. Your hand instinctively goes to your throat, and that's when the real terror hits. You're completely alone. No one is coming through that door. No one is in the next room. It's just you and about 15 seconds before your vision starts closing in. I've spent 3 decades working in emergency medicine and critical care. I've treated choking victims who made it to the hospital, and I've reviewed the cases of those who didn't. And I need to tell you something that most people don't realize. The difference between surviving and not surviving when you're choking alone often comes down to one thing: whether you knew these techniques before it happened. Not after, before. Because when you can't breathe, when your brain is screaming for oxygen, you will not be able to think clearly enough to figure this out. You need to have practiced this. Your body needs to know what to do when your mind goes blank. Let me show you why this matters so much right now. Every single year, more than 5,000 Americans over the age of 60 die from choking. Not heart attacks, not strokes, choking. On food. In their own homes. And here's the number that should make you stop everything you're doing and pay attention. If you're over 60, you are 7 times more likely to choke than someone in their 20s or 30s. Why? Your throat muscles aren't as strong as they used to be. Your swallow reflex is slowed down. If you're on medications, and most people over 60 are on at least one, many of those medications dry out your mouth and throat. Dentures make it harder to know if you've chewed enough. And nearly half of all fatal choking incidents in seniors happen when the person is completely alone. So right now I'm going to walk you through 7 techniques that can save your life. Not might save your life, can save your life. These are the exact methods that survivors have told me they used. People who were alone, who were choking, who had no help coming, and who are alive today because they did these things. And I need you to watch all 7 because the last technique, the one I'm saving for the end, that's the one with the most power. That's the nuclear option. The one that generates so much force it can dislodge almost anything. But we're building up to it because you need to understand the sequence. You need to know what to try first, second, third, so that when this happens, and statistically for many of you it will happen at some point, your body just moves through the steps automatically. So let's start. The very first thing, and this is going to sound almost too simple, but I promise you it's the foundation for everything else. When you realize you're choking, when that food stops moving and the air stops flowing, your brain is going to flood with chemicals, adrenaline, cortisol, pure panic hormones, and your first instinct will be to flail, to run, to grab at your throat, to do anything except think. I treated a man named Robert, 73 years old, choked on a piece of pork chop at his kitchen table. He told me his first reaction was to sprint for his front door. He was going to run outside to find a neighbor. He made it maybe 4 steps before his legs went weak and he collapsed into his hallway wall. He said he genuinely thought he was about to die right there on his hallway floor. But then something clicked. He remembered a phrase his son, who's a paramedic, had drilled into him. 3 words: stop, breathe, act. Now obviously he couldn't actually breathe, but the phrase stopped the panic spiral. It gave his brain just enough structure to shift from animal terror into problem-solving mode. 3 seconds. That's all it took. So here's what I need you to do right now. Pick a phrase. It can be, I know what to do. It can be, stop and think. It can be, I've got this. Whatever resonates with you, say it out loud right now. Say it 3 times. I'm serious. Because when you're oxygen deprived and terrified, your brain will grab onto whatever has been practiced. You need to hardwire this phrase in now. Okay, step 2, and this is critical. As soon as you realize you cannot breathe, grab your phone and dial emergency services, even if you cannot make a sound, even if you think, what's the point if I can't talk? Here's what most people don't know. When emergency dispatchers receive a silent call, they are trained to treat it as a real emergency. If you're calling from a home phone, they already have your exact address. If you're calling from a mobile, they can track your GPS location. You don't need to say one single word. Just dial, press call, and leave the line open. If you can make any noise, a grunt, a tap on the counter, a thump on the wall, do it. That tells the dispatcher someone is in distress and help gets sent faster. 4 seconds. That's all this takes. 4 seconds to dial, and now, even if the next 5 techniques don't completely clear your airway, paramedics are already on their way. That phone call is your insurance policy. And if you live alone, keep your phone on you when you eat. In your pocket, on the table next to your plate, not in the other room, not upstairs charging, right there. Now, the third thing. Stand up immediately and lean your upper body forward, about 45 degrees, like you're bending to touch your toes, but you stop halfway. This is pure physics. When you're sitting upright or standing straight, gravity is working against you. It's pushing that food deeper into your airway. But when you lean forward, gravity reverses. Now it's pulling the obstruction toward your mouth instead of down your throat. If you're sitting when it happens, stand up. Grab the edge of a table or counter for balance. Bend at the waist until your chest is angled down toward the floor. Stay in this position for everything that comes next. Do not lean backward. Do not lie down. Forward and down. Let gravity become your ally. All right, quick pause. If this information is already giving you a sense of relief, if you're realizing you're actually learning something that could genuinely save your life, do me a favor. Hit that like button and drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. I want to know this is reaching people. I want to know you're out there learning this. Okay, let's keep going because now we're getting into the techniques that generate force. Number 4, the power cough. This is not your normal cough. A regular throat-clearing cough will not move a real blockage. What you need is a cough that comes from deep in your diaphragm, that big dome-shaped muscle that sits under your lungs. Here's how. While you're leaning forward, try to suck in whatever tiny bit of air you can, even if it's almost nothing. Even if it feels like you're sipping air through a straw. Get whatever you can. Then, tighten your entire core, your stomach muscles, your abs, everything, and force that air out in one violent, explosive burst. You're not coughing from your throat, you're coughing from your gut, like you're trying to blow out a candle that's 3 feet away using only your belly. Short, sharp, massive bursts of air. Not a bunch of weak coughs, one huge push. Then another, then another. Try to get 5 of these out. If you feel the food move at all, even a little bit, keep going. Sometimes this alone is enough. The blockage shifts just enough to let a little air through, and then the next cough moves it more, and then it's out. But if after 5 power coughs you're still blocked, we go to number 5. Find a chair with a hard back. Not a couch, not a cushioned chair. A solid kitchen chair or dining room chair, something with a firm top edge. Position yourself so the top of the chair back is right at your upper belly, just above your belly button and below your rib cage. That's your target zone. Grip the sides of the chair to control your position. Now thrust your body forward and down so your abdomen slams into that chair edge. Hard. You are trying to recreate the same upward burst of pressure that someone's fist would create if they were doing the Heimlich maneuver on you. These need to be forceful. You might bruise yourself. That's fine. A bruise heals in a week. We're trying to keep you breathing. 5 hard thrusts. Pause. Check if air is moving. If not, 5 more. Keep your body angled forward the whole time so gravity is still helping. I had a patient, 76-year-old woman, who choked on a piece of chicken at her kitchen table. She did exactly this. 5 thrusts against her chair. Nothing. 5 more. On the 3rd thrust of the 2nd set, the chicken popped out and she could breathe again. She sat in that chair for 20 minutes just crying and breathing. She told me later she'd watched a video about this 2 years earlier and never thought she'd actually need it. But she did need it, and it worked. All right, number 6. If the chair thrusts aren't clearing it, we add back blows. But you're doing these on yourself, so we're using a wall or a door frame. Turn around so your back is facing a solid wall or the edge of a door frame. Now slam your upper back right between your shoulder blades into that wall. Hard. This works differently than the Heimlich approach. Instead of forcing air up from below, you're using physical impact to jar the object loose. The vibration and shock can dislodge something that's wedged in your upper throat. 5 firm strikes. And I mean actually commit to this. A gentle lean does nothing. You are throwing your back into the wall with real force. Alternate between the chair and the wall. 5 chair thrusts, 5 wall blows, 5 chair thrusts, 5 wall blows. Keep rotating. And if you've done all of that and you're still blocked, we go to the final technique, the most powerful one, the one that generates more force than anything else you can do alone. This is called the floor drop, and I want you to listen very carefully because this is the technique that has saved more lives than any other when someone is choking alone. Get down on your knees on the floor. Put both hands flat on the ground in front of you, like you're about to do a push-up from your knees. Now make 2 fists. Stack them on top of each other directly beneath your upper belly. One fist on the floor, the other fist on top of it, positioned right above your belly button. Your upper body weight is now resting on those stacked fists, pressing into your abdomen. And then you drop. Let your elbows collapse. Let your full body weight slam down onto your fists. You are using the floor and gravity to perform a Heimlich maneuver on yourself. The force of your entire body driving your fists into your diaphragm creates a massive burst of air shooting up through your windpipe. This generates more pressure than any other method. That's why it's the last resort. That's why it's number 1. Let me tell you about Helen. 78 years old, lives alone in a small house. She was eating a piece of steak one night, a chunk lodged in her throat. She tried coughing. Nothing moved. She did the chair thrust. The meat shifted slightly but didn't come out. She told me later that she was starting to see black spots creeping in from the edges of her vision. She knew she had maybe seconds left. She got down on her kitchen floor, made her fists, positioned them exactly like I just described, and dropped. First drop, nothing. Second drop, the steak shot out of her mouth and skidded across her kitchen tiles. She stayed on that floor for 15 minutes just breathing and crying. She came to see me 2 days later and told me she'd practiced this technique one time, gently, 6 months earlier after seeing something online. And when she needed it, when her brain was shutting down from lack of oxygen, her body knew what to do. That's why I'm asking you to practice this, not at full force, gently. Just get on the floor right now if you can. Position your fists. Feel where they go. Feel what it's like. Build that muscle memory now while you're calm so your body remembers it when your brain is drowning in panic. All right, now before I let you go, I need to give you something just as important as the emergency techniques. 4 steps to prevent choking in the first place. Because the best choking emergency is the one that never happens. Step 1. Cut your food smaller than you think you need to. Grapes, cherry tomatoes, cut them in half or quarters. Meat should be in pieces no bigger than the tip of your thumb. This single change prevents about 40% of choking incidents in seniors. Step 2. Slow down and chew 30 times per bite. I know that sounds excessive. Do it anyway. After 60, your swallow reflex needs food that's completely broken down. If you're eating while watching TV or scrolling your phone, you're probably swallowing chunks that are way too big. Step 3. Stay hydrated while you eat. Take a sip of water between every few bites. Dry food and a dry throat is the #1 choking combination I see in the emergency room. Step 4. If you're on medications that cause dry mouth, and that includes a lot of blood pressure medications, antidepressants, antihistamines, allergy pills, talk to your doctor. There are simple solutions. Saliva substitutes, lozenges, different medication options. Don't just live with a dry mouth. It's dangerous. All right, let me give you the whole sequence one more time because repetition saves lives. You're choking. You're alone. First, mental reset. 3 seconds. Stop the panic. Use your phrase. Second, grab your phone. Dial emergency services. Even silently. Leave it on. Third, stand up and lean forward 45 degrees. Gravity is now helping. Fourth, power cough. 5 times. Deep from your diaphragm. Fifth, chair back thrusts. 5 hard thrusts. Repeat if needed. Sixth, back blows against a wall. 5 impacts. Alternate with chair thrusts. Seventh, if nothing else works, the floor drop. Knees down, fists stacked under your belly, drop your body weight. That sequence can save your life. Now, if you live alone, I need you to do something for me. Share this video with one person who cares about you. A son, a daughter, a neighbor, a friend from church. Tell them you watched it. Tell them you know what to do. Because if something ever happens and you don't make it through, I want someone to know that you tried, that you were prepared. And if this video just gave you peace of mind, if you feel more confident now than you did 10 minutes ago, hit that subscribe button. I make videos like this because this is the information that actually matters. Not theories, not maybes, real techniques that save real lives. I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe out there.